Good morning. The time for convening has arrived. The Senate will come to order. At this time, I will ask all unauthorized personnel to exit the chamber. I recognize the senator from the 28th. Speak to the journal.
Thank you, Mr. President. We've got a full lineup of pages today, so appreciate all the senators out promoting the great page program we have, and it's great to have these pages back in our chamber as their absence was sorely missed. So today's lineup, we have Mackenzie Cartwright, Gray Altemeyer, Stafford King, Bryce Beck, Addison Peoples, Sasha Smith, Cohen Whitmire, Nagwan Dorsey, Keith Morrison, Serena Norwood, Jaden Stevens, Anthony Wilson, Heather Markowitz, Reginald Williams, and our very own senator from the 17th, his two nieces are with us, Rylan Charlo and Sydney Charlo. So give our pages a big round of applause.
All right.
We thank y'all for your service today, and I know the people of the great state of Georgia thank you as well. Mr. President, on this day in 1799, the first U.S. printed ballots were authorized in Pennsylvania. Thought some members of this chamber might find that interesting. On this day in 1877, Thornwell Jacobs was born, and as y'all know, he refounded Oglethorpe University and led it for 28 years. In 1879, U.S. Congress authorized women lawyers to practice before the Supreme Court. Today is National Hippo Day, National Gumdrop Day, National I Want Butterscotch Day. Mr. President, the journal has been read and found to be correct.
All right, Senator, I appreciate that, and thank you for recognizing the pages. We do have a lot of them, and I hope everybody will thank them for coming and volunteering their time. Is there objection to dispensing with the reading of the journal? Chair hears none, and the reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there objection to confirmation of the journal? Chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. All senators who have bills or resolutions to introduce, please bring them to the Secretary's desk. First reading and references of Senate bills.
Senate Bill 165 by Senator Goodman of the 8th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to dimensions and weight of vehicles and loads so as to provide for an allowable variance for Senate Bill 166 by Senator Merritt of the 9th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to labor practices of public officers and employees.
Insurance and labor.
Senate Bill 167 by Senator Robertson of the 29th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to public utilities and public transportation so as to exclude the provision of electricity to propel
regulated industries.
Senate Bill 168 by Senator Williams of the 25th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to liens of hospitals and nursing homes so as to allow a chiropractic practice to have a lien on a cause.
Health and Human Services.
Senate Bill 169 by Senator Payne of the 54th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to procedures to be followed by disciplinary officer, panel, or tribunal in public schools and review so as to provide. Senate Bill 170 by Senator Albers of the 56th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to elementary and secondary education so as to provide for the qualification and selection of students to advise the State Board of Education and local boards. Senate Bill 171 by Senator Burns of the 23rd and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to development authorities so as to limit the length of the director's holdover period following expiration of term of office.
Economic development.
Senate Bill 172 by Senator Cowser of the 46th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to state government so as to authorize and provide for the regulation and taxation of sports betting
regulated
in the state.
Industries.
Senate Bill 173 by Senator Watson of the 1st and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to emergency medical services so as to provide that hospital authorities may transfer its ambulance service license to its local governing body directly if the governing body is eligible for such a license, to provide for definitions, to provide for related matters, to repeal conflicting laws, and for other purposes.
Health and Human Services.
Senate Bill 174 by Senator Dixon of the 45th and others, a bill to be entitled an act, the Georgia Lottery for Education Act, so as to
Economic
provide.
Development.
Senate Bill 175 by Senator Halpern of the 39th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to searches with warrants, so as to provide
Public
for additional.
Safety.
Senate Bill 176 by Senator Estevez of the 6th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to inspection of public records, so as to protect the
Government
personal.
Oversight.
Senate Bill 177 by Senator Jones the 2nd of the 22nd and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to agriculture, so as to enact the feud.
Agriculture.
Senate Bill 178 by Senator Kennedy of the 18th and Lucas of the 26th, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act known as the Macon Water Authority Act, approved March 23. Senate Bill 179 by Senator McLaurin of the 14th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to qualifications of electors generally.
Ethics.
Senate Bill 180 by Senator Setzler of the 37th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to state government, so as to provide for the preservation of religious freedom, to provide for legislative findings.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 181 by Senator Payne of the 54th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to the Georgia Technology Authority, so
Science
as to
and
require.
Technology.
Senate Bill 182 by Senator Halpern of the 39th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to stalking, so as to provide for the offense of doxing.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 183 by Senator Dolezal of the 27th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to ticket brokers, so as to remove an exception permitting certain resale
Economic
restrictions.
Development.
Senate Resolution 136 by Senator Butler of the 55th and others, a resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution so as to provide that every individual.
Rules.
Senate Resolution 137 by Senator Robertson of the 29th and others, a resolution urging electronic membership
Regulated
corporations.
industries.
Senate Resolution 138 by Senator Butler of the 55th and others, a resolution recognizing March 15th, 2023.
Rules.
Senate Resolution 140 by Senator Cowsert of the 46th and others, a resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution of the State of Georgia so as to authorize the Georgia
Regulated
General
industries.
Assembly. Senate Resolution 143 by Senator Halpern of the 39th and others, a resolution recognizing and commending Zernona Clayton as the
Rules.
first. Senate Resolution 144 by Senator Estevez of the 6th and others, a resolution creating the Senate expanding early
Rules.
childhood. Senate Resolution 147 by Senator Mallow of the 2nd and others, a resolution creating the Senate Local Option Sales Tax Study Committee and for other
Rules.
purposes. Senate Resolution 148 by Senator McLaurin of the 14th and others, a resolution proposing an amendment to the.
Ethics.
Senate Resolution 152 by Senator Rahman of the 5th and others, a resolution recognizing
Rules.
February. That completes the order, Mr. President.
First reading references the House bills.
House Bill 67 by Representative Powell of the 33rd and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to licensing provisions regarding professional
Children
counselors.
and Family.
House Bill 176 by Representative Gunter of the 8th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to general provisions regarding court reporters.
Judiciary.
That completes the order, Mr. President.
Secretary will read the reports on standing committees.
Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Education and Youth has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. Senate Bill 32, due pass by substitute. Senate Bill 50, due pass. Senate Bill 123, due pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Dixon of the 45th District Chairman. The Senate Committee on State and Local Government Operations has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. Senate Bill 6, due pass. Senate Bill 130, due pass. House Bill 11, due pass. House Bill 12, due pass. House Bill 28, due pass. House Bill 29, due pass. House Bill 49, due pass. House Bill 50, due pass. House Bill 57, due pass. House Bill 58, due pass. House Bill 59, due pass. House Bill 60, due pass. House Bill 61, due pass. House Bill 93, due pass. House Bill 94, due pass. House Bill 125, due pass. House Bill 134, due pass. House Bill 159, due pass. House Bill 160, due pass. House Bill 164, due pass. House Bill 169, due pass. House Bill 199, due pass. House Bill 210, due pass. House Bill 240, due pass. House Bill 255, due pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator again of the 47th District Chairman. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Thank you, Secretary. It is now time for the morning roll call. Are there any, second readings. Secretary,
Senate-
read second readings.
Senate Bill 12 by Senator Albers of the 56th and others, Protecting Victims and Dismantling Georgia Street Gangs Act enact. Senate Bill 13 by Senator Albers of the 56th and others, Public Sales Tax Levies and Executions Authorized Online. Senate Bill 22 by Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd and others, Hemp Farming Relating to Offenses Against Public Health and Morals, the Purchase of, Sale of, and Offering of Samples of Hemp Products by or to any individual under the age of 18 years old, Prohibit. Senate Bill 28 by Senator Dixon of the 45th and others, Board of Commissioners of Counties, enact fixing the compensation of counties with a population in excess of 500,000 according to the 1970 United States Census repeal. Senate Bill 62 by Senator Summers of the 13th and others, counties and municipal corporations, certain local ordinances or policies relating to public camping or sleeping prohibit. Senate Bill 83 by Senator Jackson of the 41st and others, stalking, eligibility for restraining orders revised. Senate Bill 93 by Senator Anna Vitarte of the 31st and others, information technology, use of certain social media platforms on state equipment, restrict. Senate Bill 112 by Senator Anna Vitarte of the 31st and others, Workforce Acceleration Act, enact. Mr. President, that completes the order.
It is now time for the morning roll call. Are there any motions to excuse? Senator from the 33rd.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning, y'all. I have nobody to excuse, but I want to welcome back the senator from the 38th. Let's put our hands together.
All right. Good to have the senator back. Senator from the 56th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning. I'd ask unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 50th for business inside the Capitol.
Without objection, senator from the 50th is excused. Senator from the 53rd.
Hey, good morning, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 30th for business inside the Capitol.
Without objection, senator from the 30th is excused. Any other motions to excuse? Chair hears none. Secretary will call the roll. Senators, please signify your presence by voting the yay switch. Secretary will unlock the machine. It is now time for our morning devotion. All senators, please take your seats and cease all audible conversation. I would ask the doorkeepers to secure the chamber at this time. I want to recognize my good friend, my neighbor from beautiful Henry County, Georgia, senator from the 17th, for the purpose of leading us in our pledge and introducing our pastor of the day.
Thank you. If you'll please join me in the pledge of the American flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Georgia flag. Pledge allegiance to the Georgia flag, to the principles for which it stands, wisdom, justice, moderation, and courage. Good morning. Mr. President, members of the Senate, if I may start a little bit off script and with a moment of personal privilege, up in the gallery today, I want to embarrass 5 people there joining us. I have my parents, Bob and Lynn Strickland, my sister, Ashley Charlo, and 2 of my nephews, Ryder and White. Y'all stand up. They love the attention. Thank you. As the chairman of rules mentioned, I have 2 nieces up here paging today, so it's a great day for Henry County. And speaking of Henry County, I get the privilege of recognizing our pastor of the day, Pastor Jeff Dawes from Stockbridge Community Church. Joining him today, we have the youth pastor, Kimo Jones, and we also have our outreach director, M. No. Thank you all for joining us as well. Pastor Jeff started his ministry in 1990 as he served as a youth pastor in Toccoa, Georgia for 3 years. He continued serving in Stone Mountain, Georgia as student pastor in 1993, where he later became the lead pastor of the Forest Park Church of God in 1995. From there, Pastor Jeff and his ministry moved locations 3 times as God expanded his church. In 2003, property was found to build on what is now known as Stockbridge Community Church. It has an average of 800 people in attendance each Sunday. For over 25 years, Pastor Dawes has devoted his life to helping others discover their opportunity for a better life. He is the lead pastor of Stockbridge Community Church, which is a vibrant and diverse church south of Atlanta, sitting right between Stockbridge and McDonough. Through his weekly relevant teachings, he challenges his listeners to grow through a deeper relationship with Jesus Christ. Jeff is married to his wife, Rhonda. They've been married for 35 years and share 2 children, Tyler and Caitlin. I'm proud to welcome Pastor Jeff Dawes to the State Senate.
Well, good morning, everyone. I just want to say thank you so much for all that you do. You know, I think that sometimes we don't understand all that you guys do every day for us, and I just appreciate what happens in this building and in this room, and I just want to say thank you for being such servants that you are. It's an honor to be before you today. I want to share just one thing with you, and then, you know, I know that you have a pastor every day, and the likelihood of you remembering what I'm going to say today is very slim. So I decided that if I could just cut that down to maybe 2 words, maybe you could carry it with you today. And so the 2 words that I would like to share with you today are do good. Would you humor me today by repeating those words? Let's say them. Do good. Do good. Everybody, do good. Those are simple words, aren't they? Those words have such power. You know, I don't know how your life has been in the last 3 years, but mine in leadership has been crazy just like yours. When COVID hit, all kinds of things hit our area. We're in a very diverse area. And, of course, we had all the tensions that everyone else faced politically and racially in our area. And there was in that time, I asked God, you know, what is it that you would want me to learn? And there's a verse that come to my mind. I want to share it with you because I know there's never any division in this room. Okay, never mind. Nobody's laughing at that. Maybe I said the wrong thing. Thank you very much. What are our 2 words, everybody? Do good. That's right. Do good. Remember that. And I come across a verse that made no sense to me, and I'll be transparent with you. As a pastor, I've studied the Scripture. I read the Bible daily, but there's some verses that I come through that I just sort of skim because I don't really get them. And this one verse I want to share with you is the words of Jesus. It's found in Luke 6:27. He said, "But I tell you who hear me, love your enemies and do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you and pray for those who mistreat you." Now, I don't know about you when you hear that or not, but when I hear love your enemy, I don't really get that because it's hard for me to love somebody that's been mean to me. Would you agree with that? What are our 2 words, everybody? Do good. That's right, do good. And so what I learned was this, is that the love that he's talking about is not the feel-good love. Because I've always felt like I had to feel good to love somebody. You know, in order to love someone, I had to like them, but that's not what he's saying. Biblical love, the love that Jesus was talking about, was a love that does good no matter how I feel. In other words, is this. If I'm driving in a car behind you and your car is in an accident, it's on fire. If I only like you, but you're my enemy, and I only say, well, I don't like them, I may just drive on by and let you be in that car that's on fire. Or I can, if I love you, means that I don't have to like you, but I'm going to do good for you no matter how I feel. So that means I'm going to go over and pull you out of the car. I may let the door hit you on the way out, but I'm going to get you out. Okay. So you see the difference there? Is that we have decided that love means I got to feel good toward you. But that's not what love is. Love means I'm going to do good toward you no matter how I feel. And I was thinking a setting like this where tensions get high and everybody has their ideas and you know, there can be times that you have to choose, okay, am I going to love this person instead of like them? That means that I'm going to choose to do good for them no matter how I feel. So what's our words, everybody in the gallery as well? Do good. Do good. I want to share this with you. Love is doing good for another person no matter how I feel. You should take that home with you. When things are not going your way, and when people have aggravated you, you should understand that love is doing good no matter how I feel. And I want to leave you with this comment. Love that does no good is no good. If you say you love your spouse, you say you love your children, you say you love your state, you say you love your country, but if it does not do good, it is no good. So today, my prayer is that you will take home biblical love and that you would choose to do good in this chamber, in your living room, in your churches, in your community, that you would choose to do good no matter how you feel. And if you would do those two words, what are they, everybody? Do good no matter how you feel. It will change everything. Remember, love that does no good is no good. But love that does good is unstoppable. That's why the scripture says, love never fails. It's not the feeling, it's the action. Let us pray. Lord, we thank you so much today for these men and women that are gathered here. Lord, they're here to do business. And God, they need your wisdom. They need your understanding. Lord, they need patience with each other. And they need love. Oh God, they need this love that we're talking about. I need this love every day. And I'm asking you somehow, God, that you would reach down your hand and you would impart in every person in this room that love that says, I'm going to do good for another person no matter how I feel. I'm going to do good. Their wrong is not going to make me do wrong. I'm going to do good no matter how I feel. And Lord, we understand that love that does no good is no good. So today, God, we want to do good. And so we ask your blessings on this day. I ask you to bless, oh Lord, everyone in this room. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. God bless you. Thank you so much.
All right, we've got some special guests with us today, and if I get everybody's attention, so we can give our senator from South Georgia our undivided attention. Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Resolution 90 by Senator Summers of the 13th and others, a resolution recognizing February 15th, 2023 as Georgia Hearing Day at the state capitol and for other purposes. Whereas hearing plays a critical role in communication and personal relationships, overall health outcomes, psychological well-being, and safety. And whereas hearing loss has been tied to cognitive decline, dementia, falls, depression, and isolation. Whereas noise-induced hearing loss is a preventable and significant health problem among United States adults and is a growing problem with adolescents. And whereas, according to the National Institutes of Deafness and Other Communications Disorders, more than 37 million American adults, 15%, report some trouble hearing, and approximately 28.2 million American adults could benefit from using hearing aids. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate that the members of this body recognize February 15th, 2023 as Georgia Hearing Day at the state capitol. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Is there objection to adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. I'd like to call on the senator from the 13th to introduce these good folks we have with us today, and it is always a pleasure to have my friend from South Georgia addressing the body here. So here we go.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you. Can you hear me? Is it hard to hear out there? Folks, this is the day, guys. This is something we take for granted every day, and that's our hearing. It's one of what I consider one of the 7 wonders of the world is our hearing, and it's so important. And I was telling the group this morning, as a pilot, you know, they check my hearing every year when we do our physicals, and I've watched my hearing steadily decline regarding high-pitched tones, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'll assure you, you may not want to admit it out there, but I'll bet you there's a ton of us out here that suffer from some form of hearing loss. In fact, 37 million people suffer from hearing loss and probably would find, help with hearing aids. And that's why we're here today, representing, February the 15th is Georgia Hearing Day. I'm honored to be here to recognize Ralph Jackson. He served Southwest Georgia hearing needs for over 30 years. Mr. Jackson, step up close here. He's been the director of the government relations for the Georgia Society of Hearing Professionals, and we're excited to have him and his group here. And I'd like for Ralph to introduce his group and tell us a little bit about them. But guys, protect your hearing. If you loud noises, I know that y'all are all party animals, so y'all go out and listen to loud music. But the bottom line of it is protect your hearing because it's so, so important. And if you will, welcome Ralph Jackson in the group, please.
Thank you so much. I want to thank Chairman Sumners and the legislative body for allowing us to have our Georgia Hearing Society at Capitol Day. And as he was expressing a moment ago, hearing is just a key component of your overall health, your life. There's so many things that hearing loss affects. It affects your memory, your cognitive ability. If you have other issues in your life, diabetes, and it just all contributes to hearing loss. And what we do is we help the citizens of Georgia to hear better, and we also help them to live better. So to hear better is to live better, and we do thank you so much for having us today.
We also have some hearing professionals in the gallery. If you guys stand up, we'd like to tell you hello. So thank you all for being here. Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to present this to you, Mr. Ralph. This is a resolution signed by the Senate and Lieutenant Governor. This is a resolution for the hearing day. And thank you so much for the work you do.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I know, right? If I could have everyone's attention again, please. Always, every day, we like to recognize our doctor of the day, and it's a pleasure to have a senator from our minority leader who has the doctor of the day, a senator from the 55th, and I recognize this young lady here. I think you've been down here before, haven't you? Yeah, it's good to have you back. So, oh, good. So, if y'all will give the senator from the 55th your attention, and she'll introduce our doctor of the day.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Senate. It's my pleasure to introduce my constituent, Dr. Juliana Adams Burt. She's in obstetrics and gynecology. Dr. Juliana Adams Burt is a leading voice for women's health. In her 18th year of practice, she is the founder and CEO of Radiant Women's Health, located in Conyers, Georgia. She landed south from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania in 1991 to matriculate at Clark Atlanta University. She taught high school science and health in the Atlanta Public Schools, and then obtained her medical degree in 2001 from Morehouse School of Medicine. She serves as the solo chief resident and was the first black female physician to graduate from Allegheny General Hospital OB/GYN residency program in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 2005. Of late, Dr. Burt has seized many opportunities to educate the masses outside of the exam room. She has appeared on a national reality show counseling a midlife couple on infertility. She has loaned her expertise on local news and radio, discussing myriad topics such as the alarming black maternal mortality rate, sexual health issues, human and sex trafficking, and on a national news platform, responding to the impact of the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. With that ongoing presence in the local schools, churches, and community forums, she formed Dr. Ju Delivers, her platform she uses pushing wellness to women. For those of you that are AKAs, she's your sister. She's a life member of Alpha Kappa Psi sorority. Despite the challenges and joys of juggling her practice amid her community and leadership endeavors, the role she most passionately reveres is that of a wife and mother. Welcome, Dr. Juliana Adams Burt.
Thank you, Senator Butler. So thank you all for having me. This is an honor. And I'm just going to briefly share, thanks to the pastor and thanks to the resolution that just passed, and we heard about the Georgia Hearing Day, two things. The pastor mentioned to do good. He was talking about doing good for others. I want you to remember to do good for yourselves. I want you to remember, I see a lot of water bottles, so I'm giving y'all thumbs up, but for those who I see all this coffee and Cokes, and y'all like to trick yourselves with the Diet Cokes and all of that. If you're going to drink something that's not water, I like that. Thank you for the motto. If you're going to drink something that's non-water, drink water alongside it, okay? So if you're going to promise me that. If you're in a room, I know we're in an older building, but when you have a choice of elevators and stairs, please take the stairs, especially when it's only two stories up. Y'all going 2 floors up, and you know, if it's 15 or more, okay, I got you. But just remember to do good for yourselves. And the last thing I'm going to say, because I was so tickled to be here on the hearing day, I actually have hearing loss. I've had hearing loss since I was a child. And a little known fact about me, I interpret at my church, so I'm an interpreter. So when I heard them today, I said, I'm going to find those folks. So do protect your hearing, please. Thank y'all for having me. Have a great day.
Are there any unanimous consents? Does any senator wish to rise on a point of personal privilege? Senator from the 20th.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's my pleasure to welcome in the gallery today the Bonaire Middle School Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, FCCLA group. I wish they would please stand and let's welcome them to the Georgia Senate. With them today is their advisor, Michaela Fitzwater. She teaches family and consumer science at Bonaire Middle. And their chaperone, Wade Walker, and he teaches 8th grade Georgia history. And Wade Walker happens to be my youngest son. We're mighty proud of this group, and I'm especially proud of my son, Wade. But welcome to the Georgia Senate. Thank you, and I yield the well.
Senator from the 25th, would you like to rise on a point of personal privilege?
Thank you, Mr. President. We have members of the Georgia Funeral Service Practitioners Association up in the gallery. If y'all would stand up to be recognized, these are people who work tirelessly 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. They're on call. They're also known as the last responders. During the COVID pandemic, these people worked tirelessly, many of them just over and over and over, but I'd like to welcome y'all to the Senate and thank you for your service, and I'm proud to be a member of you, and thank you. Let's give them a hand.
Recognize Senator from the 33rd.
Thank you, Mr. President, my fellow senators, colleagues, friends, and y'all. Today, I'm going to feature another member from our Senate chamber during Black History Month. And today we're going to look at the senator from the 44th, Gail Davenport. She was sworn in to the state Senate in 2007, representing Senate District 44, which currently includes portions of Clayton and DeKalb counties. Senator Davenport is a member of the Senate Appropriations, Natural Resources, and Environment, State Institutions and Property, Urban Affairs, and Retirement Committees. She is a graduate of Spelman College, America's oldest historically black college for women, and a life member of the National Alumni Association of Spelman College, a recipient of the 2008 Merit Award by the National Alumni Association of Spelman College, and she received in 2002 the Spelman College Board of Trustee Community Service Award and the Atlanta chapter in 2001 of Outstanding Alumni Award. Senator Davenport is a lifelong advocate of education, and in September of 1997, she established the Henry and Clara Dixon Education Fund in honor of her maternal grandparents. The fund helps students purchase books while attending college. She also founded College Bound, a residential summer program that exposes high school students to the college experience and encourages the pursuit of higher education. The senator from the 44th truly believes and always say that education will take you a lot higher than drugs. Senator Davenport is also a member of the following organization: the Atlanta Business League, Empire Board, Real Estate Incorporated, National Association of Real Estate Brokers, the NAACP, SCLC, Rainbow Push, and a life member of the National Council of Negro Women, and a life member of the National Alumni Association of Spelman College. Senator Davenport is presently a real estate professional with Success Atlanta Real Estate and Investment, having worked in the real estate industry for 3 decades. She believes in democracy and housing and that every citizen deserves to experience the American dream of home ownership. She is a homegrown graduate of W.A. Fountain High School in Forest Park, a community leader, civil rights activist, humanitarian, and I encourage you to spend some time with another matriarch of the Senate and listen to her story about how she helped to build a better Georgia and a better Atlanta and a better Senate. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the time, and I yield the well, the senator from the 44th.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from the 30th, who wishes to speak on point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Senate. We are proud today to have members of the University of West Georgia's Murphy Fellows in the gallery with us today. The Murphy Fellows are a cohort-based leadership program based out of the Thomas B. Murphy Center for Public Service. The Fellows Program empowers student leaders to develop and enhance their leadership skills by interacting with leaders on their campus, within the community, and around the state, with the goal of becoming more aware of civic and social issues. The program emphasizes active citizenship, lifelong learning, responsibility, community, integrity, and collaboration. The students involved in this program are future public servants and community leaders that are well equipped because of the opportunities they are afforded. The Murphy Fellows Program is led by Dr. Karen Owen of the University College at the University of West Georgia. If y'all would stand up for us up there, please join me in welcoming our Murphy Fellows. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from the 36th. I know you've been standing there waiting, and I appreciate your patience.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I rise today on the occasion of Black History Month to lift up the name of a remarkable woman, one that you are unlikely to have heard of, quite possibly, because she lived in the years of enslavement of black people in this country, Eliza Anna Greer, who is both a doctor and a teacher. She was born in Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, and was freed along with her family by the 1865 Emancipation Proclamation. This bold and brave woman lived her life in service to her community. She, 20 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, she entered Fisk University. She studied there, and over 8 years, she received her undergraduate degree in teaching. She couldn't afford the cost of tuition to go straight through, so it took her 8 years, and in between, she picked cotton in order to pay for her tuition and support herself. That is a determined person who is committed to overcome all obstacles. Eliza Anna Greer, after teaching, realized that she thought she could do more for the African American people by becoming a doctor. So, undeterred by the cost of medical school, she was admitted and pursued a course of study in Philadelphia at the Women's Medical College in Pennsylvania. Again, it took her 8 years to get through school and get that degree in medicine. And lo and behold, she became the first African American woman admitted to practice medicine in the state of Georgia. Remarkable feat. Greer and other black physicians of this era, including Atlanta physician and pharmacist Henry Rutherford Butler, were confronted with a system of segregation and Jim Crow laws. But in the face of all of that, they banded together to build hospitals, form professional societies, and create educational institutions to support themselves and their universities. And Eliza Anna Greer, despite overwhelming difficulties, remained determined and engaged in opportunities to improve health and hygiene for African Americans in the rural South. She lived in Atlanta, she lived in Augusta, and practiced as well as an OBGYN in South Carolina. She was among 200 attendees at the Tuskegee Negro Conference, which included such nationally recognized leaders as W.B. Du Bois. She then relocated to Albany, Georgia, where her brother, Dr. R.E. Greer, was already practicing medicine. Sadly, she died at an early age. At 38, after practicing medicine for 5 years, she passed away. I'd ask us to pause and think about the impact and the meaning of this woman's life and how emblematic it is of the struggles of African American people to overcome one obstacle after another to achieve and succeed and give back to the community. I spoke with our doctor of the day today as she left the podium, Juliana Adams Burke, who was our doctor of the day, and she had a very similar trajectory. She taught here in the public education before she decided to go to Philadelphia, to go to Pennsylvania and get a medical degree. And she's now here with us as doctor of the day today, again, overcoming obstacles and moving forward. The life of Eliza Anna Greer, the first African-American doctor admitted to practice medicine in Georgia, female, is one that I lift up today. Her life is full of lessons for all of us to more fully understand our history. Thank you, and I yield the well.
Senator from the 55th, Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Senate. I just want to take a moment to recognize one of our members that have had some health challenges for the last few years and welcome her back to the chamber. The senator from the 38th, can you help me welcome her back? And also stop by and give her a few words of encouragement. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from the 45th. Senator from Gwinnett County, you wish to rise?
We're violating all the rules.
You gotta wait till light comes on.
Yeah, I got you. Hey, look, I think we're going to violate all the rules by three of us being here at the same time. I used to be the only senator in Bexar County, but now I have two great colleagues here. But most importantly, I want to recognize our group from the Bexar County Chamber of Commerce that's up in the gallery this morning. So let's give them a warm Senate welcome this morning. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate y'all being here today.
And I'd like to also, if Mackenzie Cartwright, if you would stand up. I've got a special guest here with me. Her mother and I grew up together, and she's down here visiting the Capitol. And one of her dreams, one of her many dreams, is to be a senator like we are and join this body one day. Thank you.
Senator from the 50th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to recognize a group I believe that is up in the gallery with Leadership Habersham. We've got a group of adults and high school students here. If they're here, would you please rise and be recognized? They may be in the House chamber, but wanted to welcome them and thank y'all for coming down to the Capitol. And I'll yield the will.
Senator from the 18th, the pro tem.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, colleagues. I am privileged to have the opportunity to represent Upson County and want to recognize some members of Leadership Upson County program that are in the gallery. Those of you with Leadership Upson County, would you please stand? Look at that. We got a great bunch of folks. Thank y'all. I am particularly thankful to the Upson County Chamber of Commerce for putting together this program and bringing the leadership class of 23 to the Capitol. Also want to thank the Upson County Chamber of Commerce President Madison Busby. Madison, thank you for being here this morning and your leadership. We've got, and all the important work that you do in the county and the important work that the emerging leaders will be doing coming up. I know we've had some good announcements of things going on for the economy of Upson County and look forward to more good news in the days ahead. Thank y'all and welcome to your capital. Mr. President, I yield the well.
Thank you, Senator. Is there any other senator wish to rise on a point of personal privilege? Chair hears none. You have a consent calendar of privilege resolutions before you. Does any senator wish to remove a resolution from the consent calendar? Chair hears none. Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution on the consent calendar? Chair hears none, and the resolutions on the consent calendar are adopted. Are there any motions to withdraw or commit? No. You have a consent calendar of local bills before you. Mr. Secretary, are there any objections filed to any bill on the local consent calendar?
Mr. President, there are no objections filed.
Is there objection to agreeing to the report on the Committee on State and Local Government Operations, which is favorable to the passage of the bills of the local consent calendar? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. The question is on the passage of the bills on the local consent calendar. All those in favor will vote yea. Opposed, nay. Secretary will unlock the machines. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 54, the nays are 0. This bill on the local consent calendar, having received the requisite constitutional majority, are therefore passed. Senator from 33rd, for what purpose do you rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 15th for business inside the Capitol.
Without objection, the senator from the 15th is excused. We're now moving on to the rules calendar. First on the docket is Senate Bill 47. Secretary will read the caption.
Senate Bill 47 by Senator Hofstadter of the 52nd and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 12 of Title 16 of the OCGA relating to offenses against public health and morals so as to provide that vaping in restricted areas is a misdemeanor punishable by fine. The Senate Committee on Health and Human Services recommends that this bill do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Watson of the 1st, Chairman. The Senate Committee on Health and Human Services offers the following substitute to Senate Bill 47, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 3112A2 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to definitions regarding smoke-free air so as to revise definitions to provide for related matters. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Recognize the senator from the 52nd to speak to the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. There have been several vaping bills in the past that have been multiple subjects and have gotten stopped along the way. This is a very simple bill. Some people would say that vaping is safer because of the lack of tar. Others would say that the ultrafine particulates in the aerosol make it worse. This isn't to argue that either way. This is simply to say that the 2005 Smoke-Free Act it would include or vaping in it. It's several attempts have been made to put that in there and it's failed, and so I'm trying to keep it just to a simple one subject thing that says it will be considered smoking in public places under the Clean Air Act as any other tobacco product used. If there's no questions, I'll yield the well.
You do have a question, Senator. Senator from the 42nd.
President. Will the gentleman yield?
I'll certainly yield.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Question on the current statute. Is it still the case that long-term healthcare facilities are exempted from the Clean Air Act of 2005?
We're not changing anything to the Clean Air Act, and I should have added this bill's brought to us from the Department of Public Health. But again, I'm trying to keep it simple in that we just are adding that as another product under the Clean Air Act.
I definitely understand what you're saying and what you're trying to do, and I certainly am for it. So thank you for that. I guess my question is, would we might at some point want to take a look at a couple of these exemptions, like, you know, healthcare facilities, or I think there's maybe a couple others that seemed convention facility meeting rooms are all exemptions, and it would kind of seem, especially in the healthcare space, wouldn't you agree that maybe we should take a look at
I think the senator knows what she speaks, and I would agree with her that another bill on that would be great.
Thank you.
You have no further questions, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. I urge your consideration of this bill and vote in the yes for it. Thank you.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Is there objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none, and the previous question is ordered. The question is on the adoption of the committee substitute. Is there objection to the adoption of the committee substitute? Hearing none, the committee substitute is adopted. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none, and the main question is ordered. The question is on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor signify by voting yea. Opposed, nay. Secretary will unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 51 and nays are 3. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed by substitute. Moving on, Senate Bill 59. Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Bill 59 by Senator Hatchett of the 50th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 12 of Title 45 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the governor so as to establish the office of the Inspector General, to provide for definitions, to provide for duties, to provide certain powers, to provide procedures for the application of the duties and powers of such office, to provide a duty to report certain actions, to provide for employment of peace officers. The Senate Committee on Judiciary recommends that this bill do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Strickland of 17th District Chairman. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Recognize the senator from the 50th, the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today I bring you Senate Bill 59 on behalf of Governor Kemp. This bill would finally codify and grant law enforcement authority to the Georgia Office of the Inspector General. This bill is about transparency and accountability. At its simplest, the Inspector General's office exists so that the public can trust and have confidence in our state government. Not about expanding government. It's about taking what we already have and making it better. The IG's office in the state of Georgia is an independent and objective watchdog tasked with oversight and investigations of fraud, waste, corruption, administrative violations, ethical lapses, sexual harassment throughout the entire executive branch. Civilian IGs have been ingrained in our government for over 40 years. At the state level, Georgia's IG office was created by an executive order from then Governor Sonny Perdue back in 2003. 10 other states have now codified statewide IG offices, and each one of them has statutory authority and some form of subpoena and law enforcement power. After 20 years, it's time for Georgia to join these states and make Georgia's Office of the Inspector General a truly effective fraud-preventing organization. On behalf of the governor, I urge each of you to vote in favor of this bill. A strong IG's office can determine the character and conscience of the executive branch. This bill will send a clear message that Georgians deserve a government free from fraud, help prevent fraud from ever happening in the first place, and simply make our government work better for the people of the state of Georgia. With that, again, thank you for your time and welcome any questions.
You have no questions, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the will.
Senator, I saw your light come on. Would you like to speak to the measure? He's already yielded the well, Senator. Sorry. Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Is there objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none, and the previous question is ordered. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none, and the report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none, and the main question is ordered. The question is on the passage of the bill. All those in favor of the bill vote yea. All those opposed, nay. Secretary will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 54 and the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. I'd like to recognize one of our former colleagues on the floor here, Mr. P.K. Martin. Always good to see P.K. in and around the Capitol. Moving on to the next bill, Senate Bill 68. Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Bill 68 by Senator Williams of the 25th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 1614.3 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated, relating to definitions regarding racketeer, influenced, and corrupt organizations so as to include the offense of dogfighting as racketeering activity. The Senate Committee on Public Safety recommends that this bill do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Alberts of the 56th Chairman. The Senate Committee on Public Safety offers the following substitute to Senate Bill 68, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 1614.3 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated, relating to definitions regarding racketeer, influence, and corrupt organizations so as to include the offense of dogfighting as racketeering activity. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Thank you, Secretary. I call on my senator from the 25th to speak to the measure, and I understand this is his first bill in the Senate here, ladies and gentlemen. You know, Senator, this bill is near and dear to my wife's heart, so I hope you don't mess this thing up here. So,
Thank you, Mr. President. With honor, I'm here to represent this Senate bill, and I ask for your favorable consideration. This protects our animals that can't protect themselves and prevents them from being used as deviant entertainment for people who otherwise have nothing better to do. This also makes it part of the RICO Act, which would make it more stringent to be able to prosecute these people that make a living off this, and especially the gangs that use this for ill gains. Be glad to take any questions.
you do have some questions, Senator. Senator from the 56.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the senator yield?
I do.
Senator, are you familiar with the University of Georgia?
I couldn't hear you.
Are you familiar with the University of Georgia?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with the Bulldogs, the football team?
I am.
Are you familiar with the mascot, Uga?
I am.
Now, Uga has been known on more than one occasion when a mascot has gone by to jump at, nip, and darn near fight another school. Would he be considered racketeering in this case?
No, that would be pure entertainment.
Thank you, Senator. Would you yield for another question?
Certainly.
Isn't it true that you used to serve across the hall in the House of Representatives?
I did.
Senator, can you assure each one of us here that you are fully housebroken to do this bill?
I am fully housebroken, yes, sir. With that, Mr. President, I'll yield the well. Thank you.
Whoa, 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 Senator. Senator, bad form. So, all right. Well, the senator has yielded the well here, so, wow. Yeah, state your inquiry.
Mike's on. Isn't it true that the senator's first bill in the well didn't do us justice? There may be a repeat in a day or two if he comes back.
Yeah, I think
up.
we're going to have another one here.
It's not
Yeah.
getting out on it that easy.
I think we're going to have another one here. So, all right, the senator has yielded the well. Does any senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Senator from 17th, do you have what purpose do you rise?
At the appropriate time, Mr. President, I move the table of this bill.
I'm going to take it into strong consideration. Hold that motion. Senators from 28th, what purpose do you rise? No, you don't? All right. So is any other senator wish to rise? Oh, Senator from 37th, do you wish to speak on behalf of the bill? Senator, another freshman, having no clue what's going on in the chamber right now, so... Yeah. Another former House member, ladies and gentlemen, over here getting trained by the Senate. All right. Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Is there objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. The question is on the adoption of the committee substitute. Is there objection to the adoption of the committee substitute? Hearing none, the committee substitute is adopted. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. The question is on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor of the bill vote yea. Opposed, nay. Secretary will unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 47, the nays are 7. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed by substitute. Secretary, read the caption for Senate Bill 73.
Senate Bill 73 by Senator Tillery of the 19th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Part 1 of Article 2 of Chapter 5 of Title 46 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to general provisions relative to telephone service so as to provide for class action suits and for damages against certain persons for violating provisions relating to telephone solicitations, to provide for legislative findings, to provide for actions and damages against persons and entities on whose behalf such provisions were violated. The Senate Committee on Regulated Industries recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Cowser of the 46th Chairman. The Regulated Industries and Utilities Regulated Industries and Utilities offers the following substitutes to Senate Bill 73, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Part 1 of Article 2 of Chapter 5 of Title 46 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to general provisions relative to telephone service so as to provide for class action suits and for damages against certain persons for violating provisions relating to telephone solicitations, to provide for legislative findings, to provide for actions and damages against persons and entities on whose behalf such provisions were violated. Amendment 1 by Senator Tillery and Cowser of the 46th offered the following amendment. Amend the Senate Committee on Regulated Industries and Utilities substitute to Senate Bill 73 by replacing lines 144 and 145 with the following: be a defense for consideration by the trier of fact if the defendant has, with respect to the person or entity that made the telephone solicitation, established policies and. Mr. President, that completes the order.
I recognize the senator from the 19th to speak to the bill. I might want to remind everybody, this is the chairman of appropriations. He is working on the amended budget right now and is doing a fine job.
Thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate your support. Members of the Senate, this is a bill. It's actually really easy to get up here and present. I think we had 53 co-sponsors, so many of you have already signed on. 2 people were absent that day for illness, and then the senator from the 11th had not yet joined our chamber. So thank you for your approval of this legislation. It's to try to make homes be more peaceful at dinner time, really, if I had to simplify it the most, and thank the senator for the second for that easy summary. What we've seen in Georgia is a proliferation of telemarketing calls. They interrupt homes at quiet times, they interrupt homes at dinner times. But our ability to stop them pursuant to the Georgia Do Not Call Act has been limited because we've seen those companies go outside and reach to other groups to make the calls for them. Let me give you an example. Let's suppose there was a company in Georgia that was acting duplicity. Let's say it was potentially, call it the Remote Online Notary Company. They sell car warranties. And the Remote Online Notary Car Warranty Company decides that they want to make a phone call to you or your family and say something like, hey, we would like you to buy one of our Remote Online Notary car warranties for your next car. And you say, well, I've already got a car warranty. It's not run out. Like, yeah, it expires soon. And you deal with those telemarketing calls week after week after week. And the Remote Online Notary Car Company, we'll call them Ron Car Company or Ron Corp for short, just keeps calling even though you know you've placed your number on the Georgia Do Not Call list. So you look at the Georgia statutes, you look in the OCGA and Title 46, and you say, hey, the Georgia Do Not Call Act actually has teeth. I can take and enforce and sue them and get $2,000 to stop them from making phone calls to me. So you call up Ron Corp, the Remote Online Notary Car Warranty Company, and say, I'm going to sue you for $2,000 because you keep violating the Georgia Do Not Call list. And they say, whoa, 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 whoa. We didn't violate the Georgia Do Not Call list. We didn't call you. We contracted with a company in China or India or Cambodia to make that call to you. So you can't sue us. You've got to sue the company in China or India or Cambodia or Germany, wherever else. And then your remedies under Georgia law are extremely limited. What this bill does is it tells Ron Corp, the Remote Online Notary Car Warranty Company, that they can't get around Georgia law by contracting with another company out of state, that they actually would be recognized as the entity making the call in the first place, and third-party liability would extend to them. Now, last year, this bill passed this chamber unanimously. It went across the hall, and it got stuck in a little bit of a battle and didn't make it. And some of our Georgia companies have come to us and asked for a little bit of an amendment, and they said, hey, listen, we are trying to do the right thing. We've got some business practices in place that would say that we would require us, when we're dealing with that foreign company, to say, hey, we've got policies to make sure you do not violate the Georgia Do Not Call list. Can we use the fact that we've got those policies in court to defend ourselves? And I think that is perfectly reasonable. And we've incorporated those exceptions into this law here to help hopefully make it better as it goes across the hall this year. That's all this bill does. It allows for a class action so you can consolidate those calls and bring one action against them in bulk. Again, the whole purpose of this is to try to return a little bit of peace to families at dinner time and make sure that the Georgia Do Not Call Act actually does have teeth. Thank you for your pre-support and the 53 of you who signed on to this bill. And Mr. President, if there are no questions, I'll yield the will.
You do have a few questions, Senator. Senator from the 14th, you wish to ask a question?
Thank you, Mr. President. Am I speaking with the senator from the 19th?
Yes, sir.
Well, wonderful. Good morning. I don't want to take too much of your time this morning, Senator, but how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm great. Will the gentleman further yield?
Yes, sir.
Great. I'm contacting you with a unique voting opportunity this morning whereby I and a bunch of other Democrats are willing to support your bill. I just have one question. Just like I can't contract out my dumb joke to another senator to make for me, isn't it true that organizations should not be able to mask their calls through outside organizations to escape law enforcement?
Senator, I think your clever way of bringing that up is absolutely correct and well played.
Thank you very much, Senator. Hope you have a great morning.
Thank you.
Senator from the 29th, you have a question?
Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
Senator, I was fascinated by this online notary thing you kept mentioning throughout your presentation. Could you give us some more details related to exactly what that is?
Yeah, well, in this instance, it's just a car warranty company that keeps calling you over and over again. It ends up being nagging and overly burdensome and probably burns time that the chamber shouldn't burn. So it's probably one of those, that's probably how I'd present it.
Does Senator further yield?
Yes, sir.
This online notary thing, can we do it here in the state of Georgia?
The remote online notary car warranty company, yes, sir, they can still make those calls now. But what I would hope we would be able to do is to limit that in the future through your favorable help of this act.
Well, thank you, Senator. I appreciate that. I was not aware of this online notary thing until you mentioned it, and I look forward to exploring that more.
Thank you so much. Mr. President, if there are no further questions, I'll yield the will.
You've got a couple more, Senator, but you can yield the well at any time.
Okay.
Senator from 56.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the senator yield?
To the honorable senator from the 56, yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I was very interested in the terminology and example you used for the remote online notary. I only have one question for you today. Did you pull any strings to make that happen?
Well, thank you. And Senator from the 56, I appreciate your help. What we're trying to stop is other companies being puppets for the companies in Georgia making phone calls. Thank you a lot.
Senator from the 50th.
Does the senator yield?
Yes, sir. It's probably the last time.
As chairman of appropriations, do you think this bill will have any impact on the budget?
It's a very good question, Senator from the 56. I think I would have to say we'll wait and see how many no votes there are, and maybe it could. So thank you a lot. I yield the well.
The senator has yielded the well. Now, is there any objection to the, is there any other senator wish to speak for or against the bill? All right. So, and Senator obviously is not going to close debate because he's already done that. This is his amendment that he's already spoken to. So does anybody object to the senator from the 19th amendment on his do not call bill? No objection. Question on adoption of the amendment by the senator from the 19th. There is no objection, and the amendment is adopted. The question is on the adoption of the committee substitute as amended. Is there objection to the adoption of the committee substitute as amended? Hearing none, the committee substitute as amended is adopted. Is there objection to agreeing to the report on the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. The question is on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor of the bill will vote yea, opposed nay. Secretary will unlock the machine. For the first time since session started, we have all 56 senators here today. The power of the checkbook, I tell you what. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 56 and the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed by substitute. Congratulations, Senator. I recognize the majority leader for a motion.
Yes, sir. Mr. President, I move that the Senate stand adjourned until 10 a.m. Thursday, February 16th.
The majority leader has moved that the Senate stand adjourned. Secretary, read the announcements.
The Rules Committee meeting will happen upon adjournment in 450 of the Capitol. The Public Safety Committee meeting will happen at 1 p.m. in 450 of the Capitol. The Transportation Committee meeting will happen at 1 p.m. in Mezzanine 1 of the Capitol. The Insurance and Labor Committee meeting will happen at 2 p.m. in Mezzanine 1 of the Capitol. The Higher Education Committee meeting will happen at 2 p.m. in 307 CLOB. The Health and Human Services Committee meeting will happen at 3 p.m. in 450 of the Capitol. And the Finance Committee meeting will happen at 4 p.m. in Mezzanine 1 of the Capitol. Mr. President, that completes the order.
The majority leader has moved that the Senate stand adjourned until 10 a.m. February 16th. All those in favor? I do apologize. Senator from the 23rd, I was getting ready to adjourn. Senator from the 23rd, what purpose did you rise?
Announcement, Mr. President. Reminder, colleagues, all caucus forms should be submitted by noon today. If you haven't done that, drop them by my office. We'll deal with them in the morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. All those in favor of the motion from the majority leader signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes clearly have it. We're adjourned.